Good afternoon. It is Friday, October 24th, 2025. I'm standing just up from Grand Avenue on 72nd Avenue West, continuing with the Monitors Park project of visiting all the parks in the city, from smallest to largest. We started at park number 162, and we have now worked our way up to park number 37. At 27.78 acres, it is the Lake Superior Zoo. And we won't go into the zoo. I thought I would start at the entrance here though, because these lion sculptures here. The zoo was established in 1923. These lion sculptures came from the Lyceum Theater, which was a very palatial theater that opened in downtown Duluth in 1891. It featured operas, plays, and vaudeville. It was said to be the largest theater north of Chicago, seating 1,000 people with 3 balconies. In 1921, it became a movie house and gradually deteriorated over the years. It was ultimately demolished in 1966, and these lions relocated here to the zoo. So there's a little history there. People are setting up here for Boo at the Zoo, which apparently is tomorrow. When I pulled up, everybody thought I was here for Boo at the Zoo setup. And so, as I said, Lake Superior Zoo was first established in 1923. West Duluth businessman Bert Onsgaard was the zoo manager for many years, decades it sounds like. The zoo is contained within another park on the list, Fairmount Park, and we have a parking area here for Fairmount Park, and this right here is the area trailhead for a lot of trails going up into Fairmount. I'm just going to walk around the zoo fence, the perimeter, which is going to make a long enough video because this zoo is pretty big. I've been here several times, but not recently, with my kids, and my memory is always of there's a lot of walking. I did come here to report on the lions just last year. They're down to 1 lion, and when that lion passes, they're gonna not have lions anymore here. The non-profit Arrowhead Zoological Society was formed in 1959 to help the city manage the zoo. Today, the Lake Superior Zoological Society runs it, non-profit organization. I had a run-in with them some years ago. I was trying to report on the zoo and they wouldn't let me go to their meetings because they said we're a private non-profit. And my argument was, the city owns this thing. All to no avail. They barred me from visiting their meetings. Nice in here. So my goal is to follow the fence. I don't know if I'll be strictly maintaining to that. It looks pretty, yeah, I will. So back in 2014, 15-ish, 16, I can't remember exactly, Mayor Ness wanted to close the zoo. It suffered a lot of damage in the 2012 flood. Lost some exhibits. And anyway, Mayor Ness wanted to close it. The Monitor reported on that. Well, not really. I reported on that and published it in the Reader. The Monitor didn't yet exist. And ultimately, the mayor backed off of that plan of closing the zoo. Today, it is managed and run by the Lake Superior Zoological Society, as I said. And the city donates them $510,000 a year for operation, well, for whatever they want, out of the tourism tax. And I believe it's the only group that has a contractual agreement for tourism tax that actually is guaranteed to get it each year. All the other groups have to apply every year, and they're not guaranteed. $5.39. This zoo, during that post-2012 flood period, did lose its accreditation, which apparently is a big thing with zoos. The AZA accreditation, they call it, American Zoo Association. They have now regained that. And what that means is they meet certain stringent standards of animal care. And here, the DWP line, the old DWP line passes across here. This is always a nice historical archway to check out. We're gonna just continue following the fence line here. All this above the DWP here is Fairmount Park. Further up the list, Bigger Park. A lot to see up there. And from here, from this bridge here, you can look into this, down into the zoo. This is Kingsbury Creek. No trespassing. Not a public hiking trail. No kidding. Not a trail at all. Not a public sheer drop off. Only zoo employees are allowed to fall off of there. Other than maybe Chester, I think Kingsbury Creek has the best selection of these rock outcroppings that the creek comes tumbling down through. In the springtime, that whole swath is a big rushing gusher of water, and now it's down to that. And there's a little social trail that follows the fence line down this way. So this is a tour of the zoo without actually going in the zoo. I'm devoted to putting these videos out, but not so much that I'm going to pay admission for anything. I don't know about this thing. I don't know what that really... It says it's a symbol of a hiking guy, but I don't know if it denotes... Like, this is not an official trail. So we just tack that up there or what? Ah, nice cool evening to take a stroll along the fence line. I did do a story on the zoo back, the Monitor did, I don't know when, about 2019-ish maybe. State Senator Eric Simonson was the director of the zoo at that point, and the zoo had a lobbyist that would lobby the state legislature for funding for the zoo. So I wrote a little article about how the legislator was meeting with zoo director Simonson in his office, telling him what a great idea he had about lobbying for funding. And zoo director Simonson said, yes, do that. Lobby the legislature for funding. Lobbyist left. Simonson jumped up, ran out, sped down to the legislature, took off his zoo director cap, put on his legislature cap, sat down at his desk, and the lobbyist walked in and said, "Senator Simonson, I have a great idea. The Lake Superior Zoo would like some money." And Simonson said, "That sounds like a great idea. Tell me more." That was the gist of the story. I was told that it wasn't a conflict of interest because they looked at it, the attorneys looked at it carefully and decided it wasn't. So I guess that settled that. There's a lot of those where the attorneys look at it carefully and things aren't conflicts of interest, even though in common sense outlook pretty obviously is. We got a little double layer fencing here with a little passageway in between. Wow. This must be where the animals escape every night. Looks like probably 2012 flood damage there. Look at that. Must have come down. The water must have come down that gully. Yeah, look at that hole there. I would not recommend sneaking into the zoo that way. You never know where you're going to end up. A lot of thimbleberries on the hill here. I do like Fairmount Park for thimbleberries. Nice cedar stand here too. But I'm not doing Fairmount Park, I'm doing the zoo, so let's stay focused. See if I can see any animals. No, haven't seen any yet. In the 2012 flood, the seal infamously escaped and was flopping its way down Grand Avenue. There's a pretty famous picture online about that. The polar bear exhibit got destroyed in that flood. That was like the centerpiece of the zoo. Now that's been, well, that space has been refurbished. They don't have polar bears again. I'm not sure what's in there right now. Just walking around the zoo is a nice outing. I mean, what am I at? Close to 15 minutes already. That building there is where is the medical building where they treat sick animals and things. Alright, looks like I'm coming back out to Grand here. Hopefully my ride is waiting. There's the Munger Inn across the way. Behind that is a central trailhead that goes in all directions. You can pick up the Munger Trail, the Wabauget-Shekanaw Trail. Head a little further down to Indian Point Campground. And there's my ride. Alright. There you go. Park number 37, the Lake Superior Zoo. Thanks for watching.